Hey everybody, it's your girl Aj, and I'm back with another review of Belle Collective, Season 6, episode. Is it episode 6? Girls Tripping. And it's more than girls tripping. That's a double entendre. So we open up the scene with um basically Tisha s- slept with Marie the previous night, slept in the bed with Marie. And so her and Marie talking about the previous night's activities and the whole dinner table discussion, and Tambra and Latrice are talking about it. And so Latrice was saying, "Oh my God, Tisha really didn't sleep with me." And then they started laughing. And then they show Selena, and she basically is saying that she feels in a hard spot because both of the girls are her friends. Um, and I would like to add, they show Letitia talking in her confessional, and I really do like her new confessional. It looked good. She had the milk duds pushed together so they look better. It was giving like she was a spokesperson for Lady Egyptian off of the Parkers with the snake around her neck. So then we go to the next scene, and it is basically the girls getting ready and Carrie doing like a walkthrough at Brick and Spoon to make sure everything is in place for the brunch that's about to start. Um, so then we see the girls like filing out of the house, and they showing their brunch looks. And for the most part, as far as I can remember, everybody looked pretty good. Of course, Tambra gonna put on a hat, child. But I ain't mad at it because it look better now that she ain't got them 1,000 bundles on her head. Like, Timber girl, you know you are too petite to be having them big ass bundles. So I'm glad whoever doing your hair now, maybe it's Messy Mandy, you showed up at her shop. But if it is, then she's slaying the hair. I'm gonna give her that. Selena said she was definitely Jackson's finest and represent Jackson, and the outfit was giving brunch, but it was also giving church mother. Her and her fashions. I did really like Marie's outfit. I thought it was kind of couture. The shoes was questionable. Letitia looked nice. Not Marie, Latrice looked good, which Latrice said when she was coming down the steps, Latrice Rogers is gonna turn and look even when she gonna step even when she taking out the trash. And even though she missed Copperhead, I'm gonna have to definitely say she could cop to that turning a look. Cause yes, she definitely be put together. That's one thing you can say about Snake Trees. Um, so they get to the Brick and Spoon, and so Carrie is, of course, welcoming everybody. You know, the decor is nice in the Brick and Spoon. It always is. The food is really good in there. So I see a few familiar faces. Carrie's, the family or whatever. Um, so everybody's having a good time, and then they get to a point where, of course, Letitia got to make her speech, which I'm telling you, her extemporaneous speeches, she really is well spoken. And Carrie said the same thing later on. So Carrie gets up and makes a speech about, it being good for women to come together, and how she is getting emotional, and it's just such a powerful thing. And so before they pointed it out, I'm like, oh Lord, Carrie, your darn eyelash is coming off, honey. I mean, it's lean with it, rock with it, lean with it, rock with it. And then, baby, it just slid on off, baby, to the point where the girls had to tell her, and she basically just ripped it off, ripped both of them off, and I don't blame her. I did like Carrie's natural hair. I liked the suit. The color was pretty. The print, it was cute, but it was so big. Carrie, you have got to stop wearing these suits that swallow you. You are a petite lady. Like, yes, the suits are cute, but like the pants and the like blazer are big. Like, girl, you got a nice little body. Show it off. Like, I know you trying to give 80s Whitley Gilbert, classic, but like, girl, you can give a little bit more than that. The suit was cute, but it was giving more. I see what you going for. The execution could have been better. So basically they talk about, I guess, how they met, how they linked up, Letitia and Carrie, and it was through like DMing each other on Instagram. So Letitia says, don't be scared to slide in somebody's DMs. And so the whole collective kind of like, mm, girl, I don't know if you need to be saying that, because baby, your man already ain't, he bone crusher. He ain't never scared. He ain't never scared to slide in nobody's DMs, child. And so basically in Latrice's confessional, she's saying the same thing, that basically that didn't age well. Like, baby, your man already in everybody's DMs. And so they just pan out and they kind of showing the people mingling. And I said, look at Miss L in the corner whispering to somebody. I'm sure she was talking shit like she always is, but love Miss L. Shout out Miss L. And that's Carrie's mama, Miss L. They'll introduce her later on. Okay, so then we go to the next thing, and it is them leaving the brunch, and Marie says that it was really nice and that Carrie has like a nice venue or whatever. And so Marie like, okay, well, what we eat next? I so she like, of course I'm sticking to the Creole queen or whatever. And so Marie like, I really don't like spicy. And I'm like, oh Lord, Marie, like, girl, spice is not just a Creole thing. I'm from North Mississippi and we like spice. Like, what's up, Marie? So Carrie said, well, baby, I'm not shocked because I knew you like unseasoned chicken when I saw Martin. Baby, I hollered. And Marie couldn't help but holler either. So that was a cute little dig, Carrie. Um, And so then they get to the house and Carrie tells the girls uh to change into their pajamas because they're gonna have a lemon squeeze like they used to do in her sorority. She a AKA, where I guess like all of the girls kind of get together and like squeeze out all of the bad, all of the lemons, and talk through it and make lemonade with it, and I guess get back on a good footing. Same USM, Carrie. This ain't gonna happen, right? So and it was cute because she had bought the girls like pajamas that had lemons on them, and so that was cute or whatever. And so then we see uh Carrie's Auntie Diamond. If you know Diamond, you know she a key. Diamond, Miss L, which is Carrie's mama, and Marlene, which is uh Matt's mama, so Carrie's mother-in-law. All three characters hilarious. So they bring over, look like some gumbo and rice was all that I saw, but I don't know if they bought more than that over. Which food is good. Um, so then Marie looking at the food and she like, I'm not eating none of that. And I'm like, girl, you missing out because I'm telling you, Creole food, coast food, and I'm from North Mississippi. So we throwing down on the soul food. But I'm telling you that gumbo, that good gumbo, I'm telling you with the rice, girl, you missing out. I done gained some weight since I've been down here on the coast. Let's just say that. Okay, so anyway, they talking about gathering around, finna get the food together so they can get into the lemon squeeze. So then they like, oh God, what is that? Carrie looked behind her, and I guess she thought she was gonna try to be fancy and like, brown some toast bites or whatever, a little French bread. Baby, she done burnt that shit slap up. Marie said, baby, we know why your mom and them cooking for you because you obviously can't cook. And I won't say that that's true or that ain't true because I don't never really remember eating a lot of Carrie's food. But I want to say if I have, it wasn't bad. But yeah, no, she definitely ain't that girl in the family that like you waiting on the dish that she bringing. But I mean, hey, everything ain't for everybody. But Carrie cannot multitask. Trying to talk and cook food at the same time is a no go, baby. So basically, they get into the conversation again, and Letitia sounding like a broken record, baby, scratched the hell up, saying that she feel like Latrice violated her. And Carrie says that Letitia being vulnerable makes her, I guess it makes her enduring. And that is endearing. And I guess that is true, but at the same time, it's kind of like Carrie, she putting on airs. Like, yeah, she is transparent, but like too transparent. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, so they talk about basically the situation, and Marie says that she would have handled it if two of her friends was basically one was with a man and the other one was getting with him like a whole cheating situation, she would go to the man first and be like, look, bro. She said, look, bro, you need to come clean and you need to tell my friend what you got going on, because if you don't tell it, I'm gonna tell it. Which I definitely agree with. Like, there was some real stuff. Like, it's always good to give a person fair warning or whatever. But even when you dealing with a person, that wouldn't have even worked if you dealing with a person like Letitia, because it's always gonna come back to be on you because she ain't never leaving Glendale. She's forever stuck. Like, she's stuck. She is stuck. It's giving get out. So basically, so Marie then says, well, Latrice, why you over there all quiet? Like you ain't really got nothing to say. And Latrice says that basically she feel like it's better for her to be quiet because she always end up being the scapegoat, which is true. I feel like, it always usually kind of come back to Latrice, but I kind of feel like, what are the odds of that? That can't just always be on somebody else. Like, Latrice, you've been around there some kind of way. Like, so then the doorbell rings. So of course everybody like, oh my God, what is it? So then they like, if it's a stripper or whatever, Marie gonna go ham. So then they show flashbacks of her at, I think it was So Gucci and JJ's party when they had like the exotic dancer in there, and she was throwing ones on him and like, you can get it all, baby. You can get all my money or whatever. A mess. So the doorbell rings and we come back, and it's freaking Marita order pizza. You cannot make this up. She done order pizza. And so Carrie, like, there's no way you have somebody cook for you and you order food. Like, it's rude and it's disrespectful. And then Tamara was basically in the confessional saying like, I feel like it was kind of rude. I probably would have just went to bed hungry or whatever. And I mean, I agree. That is rude. Like, L and them did not have to fix y'all nothing. Like, that was Southern hospitality at its best. I mean, and my thing is, if you try it and you don't like it, and then you decide, I guess you gonna get something else, or you just didn't care for it, then that's one thing. But for you to not even try when it's not like Carrie made it and you doing a dig towards her, like, oh girl ain't eating it. Like her the family made it. Like I feel like that was a little rude. I wouldn't have done that. So then they talk about basically Tamara says, "Oh well, I feel like the people on the coast, they kind of came brunch casual, and I feel like Jackson showed up and showed out or whatever." And so, Carrie was like, "Well, y'all got Jackson the city, and we got Jackson County for all that ratchet shit, basically." And so then Tamara, Mighty Mouse, like, "Oh, oh my God, are you?" Minnie Mouse, oh my God, are you calling Jackson ratchet? And then she finally brought it down and was like, "Are you calling Jackson ratchet?" She had to go back into her code switching voice or whatever. And so then they show Carrie in the confessional. She like, "Jackson definitely gives ratchet, and I'm standing on that." And I'm standing on there with her. Like, of course, there are people, it's different. It's outliers in every group. Yeah, I have met people from Jackson that are not ratchet, but I have met a lot of ratchet ghetto ass people from Jackson. I mean, and you can meet ratchet people from anywhere. It's a lot of ratchet people from where I am. I'm from North Mississippi. People listen to me and automatically be like, "Oh, North Mississippi, you country as hell." But that don't mean you can't be cultured. You can be ratchet and have a little bit of culture too. You can be country and have a little bit of culture. You can be Creole, coastal, and have a little bit of culture and be able to adapt. But the core is ratchet. Sorry. Um, and the fact that the way that half of y'all have behaved on this trip have proved that y'all ratchet and that y'all don't get outside of y'all's comfort zone, because a lot of y'all hadn't been open to a bunch of the stuff that she done tried to introduce y'all to, which you don't have to love something because somebody introducing you to it, but like, get outside of your comfort zone and try new things. Like, where you from is not always the right thing, which Karen can be guilty of that sometimes too. But give other people's cultures and their way of life and their type of food, give it a chance before you just shoot it down. So I thought that was kind of small minded, I guess, of them to not be like open to a lot of the stuff that Carrie wanted them to do. So then the doorbell rings again. I'm like, "Oh, what in the world is going on?" So it's a lady, Dr. Foster, that's a doctor, I'm assuming a PhD, and also a medium. So I'm like, okay, that's a plot twist. So you got the papers and you got the psyche. You got the spirit and the degree from Spelman, huh? So anyway, Latrice says that she does not want to partake. She does not do psychics because she a Baptist, and I holla, baby, because I'm Baptist too, and it ain't really my thing either. And part of me thinks that it's kind of interesting, but I wouldn't want to do it because I always have been taught and feel like that when you open that other side and communicate with the other world, you never know what's gonna come through that door. You anticipating it being something good, or you getting a loved one, getting in touch with a loved one, but it's like Pandora's box. You don't know what you gonna get. So I would rather not. Um, So the lady starts out and says, did someone in here lose their father or a father figure? And I'm thinking, oh Lord, this girl Janelle, oh, she playing in these people's faces. You know how many people done lost their father? I lost my father. I don't talk to him no more. So anyway, she goes on to talk about how did somebody lose like a male figure or a son close to them. So of course it's Selena. So then she goes on to say more about, was he unalived? You know, did you keep any articles of clothing that belonged to him? And so then she started to kind of get more detail. But I'm like, I'm still skeptical because this didn't necessarily prove anything, because you could have watched the Dancing Dolls or you could have watched the previous seasons of this show, because she has told this story multiple times. And so once she started being more detailed, Selena asked production, did they give her notes or like cue cards to read about this, because it was starting to be chilling, because it was sounding like her son. So the ladies are crying, and then the medium says that Selena's son Quincy wants her to know that she shouldn't grieve herself to death, that she needs to let it go, because if she keeps grieving the way she is, that's what's gonna happen to her. She gonna have, you know, meet her end. And so she just cries and says she can't help it. And that really touched me. You know, that really touched me. And I prayers to Selena and her girls. Um But I ain't gonna lie, after a while, I started being a little shady and thinking, girl, they got this damn soap opera music, Days of Our Lives, As the World Turns, Young and the Restless music in the background. Baby, at the end, I started to think I was at home sick with my great grandma drinking ginger ale and eating crackers, watching the stories, child. So, um, then uh she reads Carrie. Well, Carrie asks, she says that she had an aunt that had like an untimely passing. And so the lady was asking, you know, like, well, was it an accident? And Carrie was like, well, yeah, I guess it could be considered an accident. And so then she basically says, you know, was it like did she unalive herself? And so Carrie said, yeah. And that's kind of when she started to break down. And you know, she was saying that the aunt that had passed had been like through a lot of trauma, and that it was a lot of blame and stuff. And Carrie was saying, yeah, you know, in the family, you know, people thinking, I guess in retrospect, that they could have done more, you know, I guess to intervene or try to make things right. And so the doctor says that it's a lot of stuff. It could be like a lot of stuff swept under the rug. And so then Carrie really started to break down, um because she said that's something that her and her cousins say all the time about the family, and it is true, you know, and it's true for a lot of families. But you know, it is sad, and that kind of got me because, you know, of course, I'm in close proximity to the family, and I know, you know, a little bit more of the details than they told. But it really was a super sad situation, and I think it's something that still affects the family heavily to this day. And you know, black families do that all the time, and not just black families, but of course I'm gonna say that because I was raised in a black family. They just sweep stuff under the rug. You know, it's like one of those things. Oh well, what happened in the family? Stay in the family. And, oh, you just, you know, you just take it in or whatever, and then move on from it. But you don't. You don't heal from it. You just keep sweeping it under the rug. And then you know what? Before you know it, you keep sweeping shit under the rug, and then you tripping over it every time you walk over it. There's so much shit you done swept under there. Um, my family can be like this sometimes too, but my family don't get too much like that with my immediate family because we super opinionated, so we can't sweep too much. um, so basically after Carrie broke down, Latrice said that she was more convinced and that she was willing to do it. And so then the medium says that, did she lose her dad? And of course she says yeah. And she said that her dad was saying he was really proud of her, but that he feel like he really don't have the right to say that he proud of her because he really didn't have nothing to do with how she turned out because he was so absent. And of course she broke down because she's told us before that I think like her dad struggled with drug addiction and he was never really around after the mom decided to leave him, and that her brothers pretty much raised her. And so she said it kind of did, I guess, give her like a sense of relief or a peace knowing that even though he wasn't present, he still is proud of her. And also, the medium asked, was she really close with her grandmother because her grandmother kept trying to come through and basically laughing and saying that Latrice was her baby and it was like her favorite. And so Latrice said that was true. Um, and that was sweet. I could relate to that being my grandma's favorite. Yeah, I said it. Y'all, if y'all watching this, it may not be true, but in my head, I'm my grandma's favorite. Shout out to my granny boo. Um, so then basically we come back and Latrice and Letitia talk on the side, which I'm like, finally, y'all should have been talked on the side anyway instead of bringing everybody in the middle of this food fight. Like, so Latrice says she still kind of feel like when it comes to Letitia that she feel like elf her or whatever, and she just really wants to know where they stand. So to me, Letitia kept kind of talking around in circles, but she basically says that she has been thinking that as she thinks back, just like in retrospect, she is feeling like that every person that Latrice brings around has some kind of motive or is coming for her. And no, like the common denominator is Glenn Dale, fake little Boosie, this black T Rex. It's him. It is him. I don't know how many more ways we can tell you this, girl. It's him. So basically, Letitia says that it bothers her that Latrice didn't say anything because they supposed to be friends and it happened at her house. And okay, that is one point where I can kind of get with her because it's one thing if your friend Mandy blew up the spot or whatever, but this is your house and you really didn't say nothing to interject or intervene to try to like see what was going on, I guess. But it's kind of like by then, Tisha the cat is out of the bag. What can she really say? So basically Letitia says, well, we either have a friendship or we don't. And so I guess they just decided to try to squash it. But basically, we know neither one of them ain't squashing it. And so Letitia basically saying her confessional that like, I want to rebuild my friendship with Latrice, but I don't think it'll ever be at 100%, and I don't trust her. Which to me is like, okay, we know y'all are on this show. Y'all gotta have contact. But why can y'all just not say y'all cordial or y'all castmates? Why do you want to be friends with somebody that you don't trust, honey? But I guess that's the kind of stuff you do because you in a whole marriage that you've been in for what 20 plus years now, and you don't trust him either. So I guess that's your norm, honey. But I know one thing: I don't ever want to be friends with somebody that I cannot trust. I dare not call you a friend if I can't trust you. And if I call you a friend and then you prove to be untrustworthy, okay, you're no longer a friend. You may move down to acquaintance, and you probably gonna ultimately move down to nothing. But like, you're a grown woman. Why are you fighting to have this friendship that you don't trust her? So therefore, everything that y'all do moving forward, you're gonna be side eyeing or looking for a reason to blame her for it. Like, there's some whole BS. Like, you either gonna forgive the girl or you ain't gonna forgive the girl. And I feel like that go for Snake Trees too. Like, Milk does and Snake Trees, let it be over. Just don't be friends. Like, I just can't. So there was my review on Belle Collective, Girls Tripping. And thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. I mean, I don't have a big channel, but I appreciate every single view I get. Like, comment. I mean, it really means the world to me. This is not something that I'm doing to become a mega star. It's something I enjoy doing it. I love getting down in the comments with the few people that comment, interacting, sharing thoughts, opinions. So it just means a lot to me. And also, if you watching, get down in the comments and help me come up with a name for my few little subscribers. You know, my name is Aj, and people always say, "Oh, like the Wizard of Oz." And so sometimes I just go with it and say, "Just call me the Wiz." So I kind of would like for it to be something clever, with the Wizard of Oz, my Ozzies, or I don't know, my emeralds, like the Emerald City. But if you got a good name, throw some ideas down in the comments, and I'll see y'all next review.